So today we've got Dr. Satya Gupta, the chairman of IESA. So the report had shown an overall growth of 9.9%. So overall it looks good. Among one of the minor drawbacks was that there was a 65% of electronics demand being imported. So what measures are being taken by IESA to solve this issue?
So when we decided to do this report on the ESDM, the whole idea was that we have to look beyond the semiconductors and to overall electronics market because that's where the end products get created. And when we looked at it, we found that even in the bad economic situation worldwide, this sector the demand is still growing at very healthy pace, about 10%, and by 2015 it will reach to about 95 billion, which is a very significant number. When we started looking at how much of these products are being manufactured in India by Indian firms or the international firms which are producing these products in India, overall we found out that about 65% of these products are imported and remaining 35% which are being made in the country also. The actual value addition is still in those is very low.
Okay.
So if you look at the overall value addition, high value addition products are covering only about 7% of the total market. When I say low value add manufacturing, this covers mostly where the total value addition is less than 10%. High value addition is more than 50% of the value gets added in the country, maybe 100%, because something we still have to import. To look at what are the root cause of this situation, I'll say that three ingredients which make successful domestic products. One is the innovative product ideas. Second is infrastructure, where these products from the prototype can be taken to product and then in the high volume. And third is a fiscal environment where the cost of doing these products is competitive vis-a-vis the rest of the world. On the infrastructure side, government through its recent policies like National Policy on Electronics, National Policy on Telecom, is making significant effort to address the infrastructure situation in terms of manufacturing facilities, test and qualification facilities, which are common to all of the products. They are making significant effort on that. While we do that, we still feel that on the fiscal side or commercial side of these products, we have a handicap of about 20 to 22% compared to the products being imported from countries like China, and that basically makes some of the products to grow in India difficult. There are various factors which go into this fiscal handicap, and there are a lot of data basically which has been quoted in the industry, but to get a more authentic and scientific way of this data, IESA is conducting a study taking about 5 to 6 product segments and dissecting the overall cost which goes in building these products in India versus China versus basically US and other countries, and identify the items where we need significant intervention to improve the situation. Because until unless we get cost competitive product in the market, the end consumer is going to go whatever is cheaper because that's his interest. It's our responsibility to bring out the products which are cost competitive. So all of these things are going to help. Certainly, addressing the issues around the handicap on the overall cost is a big cause of this situation, and we need to address this as soon as possible. So IESA is very focused on this because other policy and all of those things are already in the implementation stage. So this particular item also needs to be addressed with respect to the macroeconomic situation because like early 80s, 90s, we can't just put the duties on the imported products, right? Because of the WTA and ITA1 and all of those kind of things. So within that environment, how do we address these fiscal disabilities? I think that is very critical.
Okay. So what are the ways in which we can accelerate the chances to improve the situation for domestic manufacturers?
So as I said earlier, right? First of all, we have to encourage grassroots level innovation. So a lot of new product ideas come into the market from the electronics. Secondly, create the infrastructure and the ecosystem where these products can be taken from an idea to prototype to product to high volume manufacturing. And third is removing whatever the cost disabilities or cost handicap we have. I think once we address these things, it automatically starts happening because there are a lot of people, a lot of young entrepreneurs, large business houses, they want to realize this opportunity. So I think on that side we are okay. So as soon as these things are addressed, I think it will not happen in a day, but we will start moving towards the more self-reliance on these products.
Okay. Then with respect to human resources, a lot of design firms have said that it is getting difficult to hire and retain quality fresher engineers, even after spending a lot of money training them. So how serious is this issue of engineering talent for the industry?
See, if I look at a broad industry, we hire some freshers from the industry, train them maybe 3 months, 6 months before they become productive. Maybe they work for a couple of years, somewhere between 2 to 5 years, and then they move out, right? But they are still part of the industry. Maybe it is gone from one company to another company,
Okay.
right? But talent is retained.
Yeah.
Certainly when people make these changes, the company which is spent on their training and so on and so forth get hurt. And also the cost also is going up because as people change the job, they start demanding more and more salaries. So I think this is just a market dynamics. As long as basically the demand is more than supply, these situations will remain. But at the current point of time, I don't think basically in VLSI domain, which is semiconductor design, not electronic system design, the supply is more than the demand.
Okay.
But saying that, I'll say that if I dissect it further, the quality of the input may not be always good, but number of the VLSI knowledgeable students, at least from a curriculum point of view and the line of course point of view, they are basically almost like much more than what industry can consume.
Okay.
So I think more than the number, we have to focus on the how do we improve the quality of students coming out of all these colleges, right? Because even if I take the tier 1 colleges, which are like IIT, BITS and IT, DC, there are 40-50 colleges like this, right? All of them are at least producing about 100 students per annum. That's a 4,000 people, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot. VLSI industry maybe consumes 10,000 students per annum max.
Okay.
Okay? I don't have authentic data on this, but basically max it could be this much. So we have a lot of supply. Uh, Now, how do we improve the quality of these students? I think that is something we should look seriously into. And one of the suggestions we generally make based on the experience of different colleges, we strongly recommend that all the colleges should devote at least one semester to practical training or the project where the students can go either in the industry or in the college doing a serious project. That will certainly improve their quality when they come out. Currently, most of the institutions either have 2 months, 3 months type of the training period. And with that training period, if they want to go to the industry cannot do much with them in 2 to 3 months, right? They need quantum of time. So like places like BITS, they give a full semester where you can go out in the industry and train yourself. So that certainly improves the quality of the student, because if you look, basic material is very good, because when these people get into engineering colleges, they are the maybe like top 0.1% of the talent. So the basic input is good, but we can do better in terms of the exposing them to the practical aspects of the industry by giving them the 6 months of the training rather than 2-3 months of just some project, some training which does not add much value. So this is one concrete suggestion. On the curriculum side, I think most of the curriculum around the electronics and VLSI is very good. It covers almost all the aspects. But we can bring more project, not just in the last semester, but throughout the 4 years. We can bring it more projects into the course curriculum. Because if I see some of the best engineering school in the world, like Berkeley, Stanford, MIT, all those places, right? Right from the first year, they start doing a lot of projects which are part of the course work itself. So maybe it's a 15 days project, 7 days project, but that starts exposing them to more practical things in the curriculum. If we could do that, I think that will improve the quality of education throughout. Be it electronics, VLSI, even in other fields it will improve the quality. And you'll see a remarkable difference between if you talk undergraduate students from the one of these top schools versus our schools, right? For example, I was just 4 months back, I was talking to one person who recently graduated to BITS, and we are talking about a student who has gone to Berkeley for about 1.5 years back, and one of their project was to design a small microprocessor. This BITS guy, even he's basically one of the premier student, he was astounded that basically in the third semester of undergraduates, these guys are designing a small microprocessor, right? So that's the level of the difference we are talking. So, and it does not take too much to introduce more practical aspect into our coursework. If we do that, certainly our quality of education will improve.
So do you think it is viable for industry associations like IESA and LCNA to team up with an organization with reach like EFY and do some curriculum intervention in which these suggestions could be taken forward and actually implemented within the curriculum?
Certainly, like these organizations plus EFY can play a major role. When I said earlier that we need to bring more practical aspects to our curriculum and 6 months training, we can theoretically say that, but when, let's say, 500 colleges introduce this, okay, that in 500 colleges multiplied by 100, okay, that is almost like 50,000 students, right? Where are they going to get the projects from? We can theoretically say they should do this, they should do this thing, right? But who is going to take 50,000 students as a internship or project or so on and so forth, right? So working together from the industry side, we have to create the opportunities where they can do a lot of in-house projects also, because certainly it's not going to be possible. Suddenly 50,000 students are absorbed in the industry for 6 months. That is not going to happen very easily. So we have to create the opportunities for all these students to do projects when they are in this college itself, right?
Yeah.
And I think these associations working together can do a great job. Like, for example, we can identify 50 areas, right? And working with EFY, we can create like 1 month project, 2 month projects in those areas, and also give them the relevant information that how can they build this project, right? And since these associations and EFY has a big reach both in the industry and the colleges, they can enable the people to identify these projects and do it. Because when I interact with undergraduate students who want to do some project, there will always a complaint, tell us what to do. What project should I do? And even if I identify a project, how should I go about it? Where am I going to get the components? Where am I going to the kits, right? Where am I going to the right infrastructure to do my project? So certainly industry associations and electronic media like EFY can play a big role. Not that much on the curriculum side, but bringing the more practical aspect, because coming from the industry side, that's what we are good at, right?
Yeah.
Doing the practical thing, exposing to latest technologies, encouraging students to do innovation, and that's what we have to build. So if this 50,000 students, right? Let's say each one of them is building a small electronic gadget before they come out of the college. At least 50 of them will be very innovative.
Yeah.
Right? Means even if I take 1 to 1,000 ratio, right? 50 new gadgets, if they come in the market, that means 50 new startups. 50 new startups means basically a lot of business starts happening from the bottom of this thing. So it just does not improve the quality of the education. It also starts basically the innovation treadmill, which can lead to startup, which can lead to basically more products, more business, and whole situation improves. So that's where means all the constituents of this industry can play a big role.
Yeah. We really need to take that forward.
Yeah.
So coming back to the industry, what challenges do you think come up when somebody needs to set up a fab in India under the current circumstances?
I think India is not a unique in terms of the challenges in setting the fab. I think the challenges are same whether it is United States, Europe, Abu Dhabi, Malaysia, Singapore, wherever the fabs have been established, China. The challenges are similar. First and foremost, it's a big investment. So somebody has to raise that kind of money and take the bold step of setting up a fab. Obviously, governments worldwide, including basically Indian government, is trying to facilitate the people who want to set up this fab with whatever means they can. But still there is a huge investment. So that is number one. Second is technology is moving at very fast pace. So you have to keep up with the technology and keep upgrading yourself. So even if you set up the fab once, it doesn't mean that your job is done, right? Every 2 to 3 years a new node comes, a new technology comes. So you have to keep upgrading your technology and processes to keep pace with the rest of the world. So that's number two. Number three is more on the commercial side. The fab business, like any other business, is not an easy business, right? To make it commercially successful, you need to have a strategy on what kind of products you are going to do, who are going to be your customer, what is going to be a pricing strategy. Just like any other business, all of those things have to be thought about. And here it is at much bigger scale because you are riding on such a heavy investment. For example, if the utilization in the fab goes below a certain threshold, then you start losing money heavily, Okay? You have to keep your utilization high, and the fourth is competition. And there are other fabs across the world. Customers are worldwide. So even if there is an India fab, it has to look at the worldwide customers, not just basically Indian customers. So when you look at the worldwide customers, you will have competition, and you have to fight. You have to bring right strategies to fight the competition. So these factors, some of them are common to any industry, some of them are very specific to the fab. We have to address all of them, and I think government is doing very right thing at this point of the time. The approach is that if somebody feels, a businessman feels that they can make a fab work commercially in India, then government is facilitating by basically making their job easy by giving them incentives to set up the fab. Rather than being that, okay, we will set up a fab, we will tell you what to do, it becomes very prescriptive and none of the business can flourish in that environment. So they are letting the businessman or whosoever is proposing to do the fab, you do your job, we will facilitate you to whatever extent so that you become commercially viable. Rather than telling that, okay, you should set up a 90 nanometer fab, you should set up a 130 nanometer fab. Let the guy who is going to basically put his money, let him decide what he wants to do. As long as it is bounded within some parameters, there has to be direction to it, since government is going to invest the money, but we cannot be very intervening in their business. Let them do their job. Because they are investing the money, ultimately if they don't make a good business out of it, they are going to lose their money.
So over the last year, has there been any improvement in the ability for entrepreneurs to get loans for setting up design firms of fabs in India?
I mean, let's leave the fab out. The fab is totally different kind of the investment, right? I think the worldwide situation to get the funding and the kind of the funding which is needed is a tough environment right now, because for certain reasons VCs are investing into different areas rather than this particular area for last 3-4 years, but that keeps changing from time to time, right? Once they start seeing the big opportunity in India, they will start again investing into the electronics and semiconductor and so on and so forth. Saying that, just like fab or any other initiative where government is facilitating and enabling the people who do that business well, in investment also, if we do that, right? So let's say if a VC is ready to put like $100 million, and we can facilitate him with basically with $10 million, $15 million from the government side, right? Then it becomes more powerful vehicle to basically go forward. And there is some de-risking also happen, because then there is a partnership between the government and the entrepreneur and the venture capitalist, right? So all of them want to grow this industry, so they all start participating, right? VC is putting their money, government is putting their money, entrepreneur is putting their time and talent, and then the whole system grows. So what we see is that science of the investment through private guys is getting better. Saying that it's not basically ideal or very heavy right now, but I think the science of that it is making progress.
Okay. So could you elaborate on the high value added manufacturing segment? Why there is a slight decline and how we can help this sector grow?
So I think when you see the decline, it's more in the percentage term.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's say without any intervention, the amount of manufacturing happening, if that remains constant, okay, then since the demand is growing, percentage wise it will go lower.
Okay.
So that's one part of it, right?
Okay.
Second thing is that let's say we are good at high value added manufacturing of one type of the product. Okay? But technology is changing so fast that if we don't upgrade and invest in the newer technology, then the older technology, whatever we were good at high value added manufacturing, that will go away. and the new technology will take over, where if we have not invested, we will not be doing high value added manufacturing, you will be doing low value added manufacturing. A concrete example is the television, right? Over the years, we have become very good at the CRT based television, right? And we were doing very high value added manufacturing for them. Now technology changed and we went to the flat panel, LCD, LED, all this kind of things.
Yeah.
So if this transition happens 100%, then all the high value added manufacturing we are doing in the cathode ray tube, right? That goes away. We don't have the LCD, LED fab to make the panels in the country. So your basically high value added segment, because of the technology progression, has become a low value added segment, right? So you have to continuously invest in the right technologies to keep the high value thing going. And also, through all this effort which is going on between the industry and government, I think there are enough initiative now to encourage the high value added manufacturing. And as we talked earlier, if we can take care of the infrastructure side, market side, and the fiscal handicap side on the product creation, I think we can get back on the track and start doing the high value added manufacturing, because I think the business climate is right, but we have to address these issues to get there.
So final question, what government initiatives do we have right now to help the ESDM industry up?
So if you look, when government came out with the National Electronics Policy in 2012, there are 5 or 6 major pillars of that policy. One was that in the government procurement, create a preference for the domestically manufactured product, okay, over basically just import. So that will create a market for the domestically manufactured product and encourage people to do more and more products. When I say domestically manufactured product, the formula is that certain percentage of the value add should be done domestically, and initially it cannot be directly 100%. So there is a progression, basically, like starting with 30%, going to 35, 40, 50. So that kind of a intelligent framework has been created, where as the time goes, the value addition, domestic value addition goes. One thing we have to be very careful here when we say these kind of things. It's the domestic value addition which we want to do. It doesn't mean that we are talking about only domestic companies. A domestic company or an international company or a MNC, as long as they do domestic value addition, they are all basically going to be part and parcel of this new policy and benefit from it. A lot of people assume that it is basically only for domestic company, India company. I think that's not the intent of the policy. Policy's intent is do the domestic value add, do the IP creation in domestic market, whosoever is there, and realize the value of whatever work you are doing domestically in India. So I think it's not exclusionary, it is basically inclusive policy from that point of view. So that being one, so that is basically going to create the market, right? Second is electronics manufacturing clusters. That will create a like a cluster of the companies which are independent, interdependent on each other, so that there is a ecosystem in a cluster where the overall product development can be done and all aspects of the supply chain can be addressed. So that's the second part of the policy. Third is the modified chips, that is giving the capex incentive to people who are going to invest in the manufacturing and the R&D across the domains. So that will certainly encourage a lot of investment into this. I think fab is certainly part and parcel of whatever endeavor, and we have already talked a lot about the fab. And one of the critical one is the Electronics Development Fund. You had earlier asked me that is there enough money for entrepreneurs to basically start their startups and get funding for the products and so on and so forth. So there is a proposed 10,000 crore rupees fund for called Electronics Development Fund, which will provide the enabling capital to seed very early stage startup, mid stage startup, and mature basically company also, because that they need the right type of the capital to grow their business.
Okay.
So that EDF is also very important. And then combining all of these initiatives, there is a proposal to create a National Electronics Mission, NEM, which will coordinate all these policies, because otherwise each of the policy will become a silo by itself, rather than all the policies basically being developed in coordination with each other. Right? Obviously, there is all kind of interdependency, like your electronics manufacturing cluster has lot of dependency on modified chips, right? Or vice versa. Fab may have similar kind of dependency. ATMP plant may have similar kind of dependency. So whatever we do, the NEM is a framework under which all of this work can be done in a coordinated manner. Beyond that, there are a lot of plans for increasing the R&D capability, like increasing the number of the PhD students in the electronics and semiconductor. Setting up a Semiconductor Institute of India where the very cutting edge research can be done, similar to various institutions like IMAC and all these places. So I'm not going to go over all the points of the policy, but I think it's very well thought out policy, and rather than attacking the one portion of the industry problems or other problems, it is a holistic policy which is addressing most of the aspect of industry, which will help in it growing, and not just growing, but growing with the domestically value added products. So if I have to say, like in last 20-30 years of my career, I think this is the significant bold step compared to the situation whatever we have seen earlier. So I hope that this will certainly change the situation, and we already started seeing the signs of people getting excited about it and taking advantage of this policy initiative. And if all the things fall into place, maybe in a couple of years we might see the trend where the high value added manufacturing is growing even faster than the consumption. That's what we want to see, because we have to catch up. Right? So demand is growing at basically, let's say 10%, until unless we are doing 15% growth in the domestic value at manufacturing, right? We will not be able to cover the gap. So that's the industry, government, academia, all of the people are making the effort for that situation to create. As the generation is changing in terms of the young people coming out of the colleges and this thing, there are a lot of exciting ideas in their mind. We have to create a channel where their innovative ideas can develop into the products. So some framework where basically innovation at the grassroots level and very early in the early stage, because I think a 18 to 25 year age is very fertile for new ideas, right, and innovative ideas. We need to harvest them. Okay? So we need to create a framework where we can identify these ideas, nurture them. They don't need to know the business. They just need to come up with the idea. A lot of people say, oh, we can do a business plan contest, right? Yeah. I think it's not about business plan contest according to me. It's about the innovative ideas. If we can recognize these ideas, there are enough people in the industry, government, all these places, they know how to nurture this idea and take it forward. Yeah. So we need a framework to capture these ideas and nurture them and take it forward. I think that is, I'm personally very passionate about it, and hopefully we can grab the talent, and that will help in us going in variety of the product. Indian situations are very different from the rest of the world. A lot of problems are local problems. Local young generation only can find a solution to those problems, and thus creating the opportunity. Be it in education, be it in healthcare, be it in energy, and these problems are grassroots problems, so the opportunity is huge. If you look at the education, the opportunity is huge.
Yeah.
So, advantage is twofold, right? We, by using the electronics, we can improve the state of the education in the country, which certainly needs a lot of help. At the same time, it can create a lot of business opportunity, right? So we solve two problems at the same time.
Yeah.
Similarly, in healthcare, right? Lot of basically rural grassroots problems are there. We need to address them if we want a healthy society. So that's from a country point of view, right? But while solving that, it creates a big market for the people who are going to basically play in that field, right? In summary, I'll say that these are the unique challenges in India. But if I can say, coin the word electronics for masses, the multiplier is huge because so many people we have to reach to, right? And that basically gives us both advantage. We are improving the state of the art in the country as well as basically creating the huge business opportunity for people who want to play. I think in conclusion I can say that electronics can, in addition to basically this 95, 200, 400 billion, can improve the quality of the life in the country significantly. Because if you look top of the line, we say roti, kapda, or makan is the biggest problem, right? But if you just go one level below, okay, the next three biggest problem is education, healthcare, and energy. And that's what basically society wants, that improvement in those things. And the solution lies in the intelligent use of the electronics to solve this problem, because there is no better way of solving this problem. So if we focus on these things, I think we can do a lot of service to the country as well as create economic prosperity.
Thank you.